Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. This is our third community conversation with our community partners. We're really excited to be doing this series to share more information about our partners that will be in the buildings once the projects are completed. So tonight we are sharing this screen with the Cape Verdean Association in New Bedford. We have a great group of speakers. We have Raquel Diaz, the president, Jan Baptist, vice president, Gail Forts, secretary, and Carlos Almeida, one of their board members. And then with Whale, we have Terry Bernard, executive director, and myself, Teresa Willander, development coordinator, and also your moderator this evening. So first up, we're going to hear from Raquel about a little bit about the history and the mission. Welcome, Raquel.
The story of Cape Verdean Association started in 1990 with a group of people who wants to help, and with the dream, the big dream, to become a Casa de Cultura. Casa de Cultura means House of Culture. This group was in 1990 when we decided to buy the building to become a Casa de Cultura. Was a group of people who has this big dream, but without the help, the community, we couldn't do nothing. We bought the building in bad condition because it was after the fire. Everybody remember that was a fire that happened on the theater. We worked hard to open the doors, but because we have good people with good heart, we had the sheriff's office who help us with all the people who needs community service to go there and try to help us clean the mess that was inside. I have to mention someone that helped a lot since the beginning. That's Buddy Andrade with the youth. In the summertime, they used to go there, help clean. Then we decided to think about that the house was raining, the building was raining, messy. We need a head, was the roof, was the first construction that we did. We fundraised $20,000 and we applied a few times without luck, like I say, but then we received from CDGBG, we received $30,000 to complete $50,000 for the roof. But then with the roof, we continue to fundraise. We decide that the building needs some sign for people to realize that was gonna be a Cape Verdean Association, was gonna be a Casa de Cultura, like the House of Culture. We decided to apply for the sign. They gave us $2,000, we raised $4,000, the sign cost $6,000. Then keep going with the cleaning. We decide, we had the handicap. They asked, now you have to have a handicap bathroom. We came together with a few individuals and they donate the money that we did the handicap bathroom. We opened a few times. We did some events, small events. We did some opens for Day of Portugal. We did Bishka, people went to play cards. We did a few things to show them our urge to open the door for service. That was our dream. And we still, in 2020, working with the big dream to open the door. That is a little bit how we started, and we still on the going. If you need any answer or ask me, because we believe that Cape Verdean is a part of history of it. And what better place to have a house of culture to represent Cape Verde with the rich culture that we have. We are a poor country, but rich in art and culture.
Thank you so much, Raquel. And now we're going to hear from Carlos to talk a little bit about the vision, the values, and some information on programming.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I am honored to be part of this great organization, the Cape Verdean Association in New Bedford, and to briefly talk about its vision and values. CVANB connects the community with the Cape Verdean history and culture here and abroad through education, information, and cultural activities. The preservation of Cape Verdean culture by promoting and showcasing this beautiful culture through education and collaboration, not only with other community organizations, but also with institutions of higher learning, including the Luso Centro at Bristol Community College, the Center for Portuguese Studies and Culture at UMass Dartmouth, and the Pedro Pires Institute for Cape Verdean Studies at Bridgewater State University, just to name a few. It is inclusive of all who cares about learning and promoting the Cape Verdean culture. A brief overview of the CVANB program. This includes a variety of youth and adult multicultural educational programs and seminars in music, dance, photography, computer literacy, kickboxing, karate, creative arts, and literature offered to all New Bedford residents. This is just a brief summary of the program. I know that my colleagues is going to be more depth in detail with the events. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm going to talk about a little bit about Batukada. Batukada, it's, we conduct in 2018, 2019, we conduct 6 week-long drumming programs for age 8 to 18, with boys and girls from different schools that participate and perform live in Day of Portugal celebration. They showcase the talent that was wonderful. Everybody loved the Batukada. Batukada means a lot for the culture, that derive from Portuguese verb meaning beats, like the movement. Feature polyrhythms and hypnotic drumming. Hypnotic drumming means like everybody would like hypnotize with the song of the music. They use tambourines, and I have something that I want to show you for people who don't know what means Batukada. We use this and they use this one, the big one, that they put in between their legs and they, okay. This is Batukada, the instrument that they use. And they use more and more. The Batukada, it's not just came from the meaning of Portuguese to means beat, but also its origin from Africa. African culture, when they need to perform or to receive the president or any event, big event, they use the batuk. In Cape Verde, our way to show the Batukada. We are now with a group, the women who use their legs with fabrics to do the sound of Batukada. This means Batukada. They call Batucadeira. This is what we use to show people what Batukada means and what is the Batuqueira. Batucadeira is the person who do the batuk and the instrument they use. That is just a little bit the story of the performance and Batukada. We like to teach the kids how to do it because it's very important for our culture too, and for other culture, because Brazil use African, the whole Africa use Batuk.
Thank you, Raquel, for that. And now we're going to hear from Gail about some of the events that have taken place over the years.
Thank you, Teresa. Good evening, everyone. I'm Gail Forts. I'm the secretary of the board. I think many of you know me in different aspects at the YWCA, but I do this as a board member, as a volunteer. And this is really important to me as a Cape Verdean American, second generation born in the United States. But growing up, you know, my father grew up in Cape Verde Island, so we grew up learning a lot about this. My father was a musician, but it was a very different day back in the 70s and 80s than it is now, as far as not being able to speak the language and some of the other things that are very different now with schooling and what we learn at home versus what happened and how my father grew up. So when I met Raquel, I was just drawn to her energy, her passion, and to spend time to work on this project. So I'm really excited and happy to be here and to present tonight. So as Raquel alluded to, some of the things that we've been doing for several years is opening our doors for open houses, as in the Day of Portugal and other events, collaborating with the Love the Ave Coalition. Our Youth Day of Culture is something that we started several years ago, partnering with different schools in the Greater New Bedford area, such as Global Learning Charter Public School, Keith Middle School, to really have a day where all youth, doesn't matter what their ethnicity, could participate and learn about our culture, whether it's music, dance, food, games, language, history. It was really, really a nice, fun day that has been funded for several years through the United Way mini grants program. International Women's Day, since 4 years now. Cape Verdean Association has partnered with organizations such as the YWCA, the Women's Fund, Women's Center, the Women's Alliance now that we're forming, and several other groups to really look broader than just International Women's Day, but other advocacy issues and programming that we can do for all women in our community going forward. We've had film series, presenters, we've had panel discussions, networking events to really talk about international women and what that means for New Bedford and the international marketplace in the North End. And Bisca tournaments, as I believe Carlos alluded to, which is a traditional game that we play, very similar to bridge. I remember growing up playing that with my grandparents. Had a lot of fun learning that game. And we have tournaments, and it's a really great time to bond, to learn about history, because you have a lot of conversations when you're just playing cards. And it's really, really a lot of fun. And I know that I have good memories with that, and I'm sure many other people do. So being able to have those opportunities, you know, in the center, as we all know, during COVID-19, we're looking at all of our programming, our offerings, and how do we offer things both remotely and in person with social distancing, whatever guidelines come forth as we move forward with the construction, you know, of the center.
Great, thank you so much, Gail. And now we're going to hear from Jan about some exciting community collaborations.
Well, thank you for coming tonight, everyone, and listening to the wonderful story of the Cape Verdean Association about our history and our dreams. And you've already heard a little bit about how we collaborate in the community with Carlos talked about our institutions of higher education. And we've also collaborated with the school district in New Bedford and a lot of other nonprofits in the city. But these three that are here on the slide are the most current things that we are doing. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Hat Street Studios. Many of you may know a little bit about them. They have been around for a while. It's a wonderful space in the far North End. Tracy Barboza is now the executive director of that effort, Hatch Street Studios. Wonderful space where they have a conference room, an open space for music and dance, almost like a gym, and there are areas where you can have lessons or do artwork. So through the collaboration with Hatch Street, Tracy has invited us to use their space while our space is being rehabilitated so that we can do some of our programming. So that's a great collaboration, a partnership with Hatch Street Studios, and we're very excited about it. We recently hired a grant writer who's looking for some money to start doing more programming in the arts and different dance maybe, and more music, and maybe resurrect the Batukada lessons again. So we're working on that with that collaboration with Hatch Street Studios. And then this very exciting relationship that we're going to have with the Schooner Ernestina Morrissey. Senator Montigny, when he wrote the legislation to restore the Ernestina, was really mindful about including us in that legislation. And so we will be partnering with SEMA and Mass Maritime Academy when the schooner is in New Bedford, because that's part of the agreement with the schooner and SEMA and Mass Maritime, that while it's not being used for instruction for the seamen in Buzzards Bay, it'll be berthed in New Bedford, and we will be putting together some cultural events and some educational programs surrounding the Ernestina. So that's very exciting, and we can't wait to have that come to fruition. I think it'll be in a year from now when the Ernestina is in the New Bedford Harbor. So that's very exciting. And then arising out of COVID, we found, I mean, our board is very excited about this, because not only do we want to preserve culture, but we want to be of service to our community. So this was a wonderful opportunity, working with the EOS or the EOS Foundation to help us recognize and give some finances, $1,000 to 25 Cape Verdean households, undocumented Cape Verdean households. So we have done that. That has been successful. Darlene Spencer, who is our a board member, and Dina Abreu, another board member, and Lisa Amaral, those were the three board members who were the committee that made that happen and facilitated that. So we're very excited about that, and we're looking forward to doing other kinds of things like that, providing services to the Cape Verdeans in New Bedford. So that is what's happening right now.
Great, thanks so much, Jan. And now we are going to have a little tour of the inside of the Strand Theater, soon to be Cape Verdean Cultural Center. So you get a sneak peek. Today, I'm going to be showing you the Strand Theater, one of our North End projects. We are partnered with the Cape Verdean Association in New Bedford, another high-impact local organization in New Bedford, and their mission is to preserve and promote Cape Verdean culture, and we're really excited to be partnered with them. And the Strand Theater is being restored and transformed into the Cape Verdean Cultural Center, and we're actually have two projects with the Cape Verdean Association. We have the Strand project, and we also are transforming the vacant lot next to the Strand, and that is going to become Island Park. And that park is to celebrate the island immigrants that live and contribute to New Bedford. And the Cape Verdean Cultural Center is going to enhance programming and events along Acushnet Avenue and the north end of New Bedford for the Cape Verdean Association, but also for all of the local organizations that need another venue for programs and events. And this theater was actually built in 1910, and it was one of 15 theaters that opened during the 20th century in New Bedford. It's only one of 5 surviving historic theater buildings left in the city. It's the oldest in the North End and the second oldest in the city of New Bedford. So let's start showing you the interior. So it's kind of cool to be able to see some of the posters that show some of the entertainment that was offered in the Strand Theater. And right now I'm actually in the soon-to-be lobby area of the Cape Verdean Cultural Center. So we can start to go inside. So this area is going to have a bunch of open seating, kind of like a cabaret style setup. This is the main stage. This is the ceiling. As you can see, there was a lot of damage that happened. In 1991, there was a fire that caused extensive damage to the interior, but luckily, there's enough of it intact that Whale is able to restore it and bring it back to what it once was. It was a beautiful sky with cherubs and clouds, and we're able to bring that back. We did a paint color analysis, and we know exactly what colors were in the Strand, and so we're able to bring those back. And it's really interesting the history. It's really interesting the history of it. The Strand Theater was actually originally called Vienn's Theater, and it was owned by an immigrant businesswoman named Cordelia Vienne, and she owned the building from 1910 to 1916, and she showed a variety of silent films and live shows, and then sold it in 1916 to three businessmen who then renamed it to the Strand. And the Strand was a really popular name for theaters, inspired by the Strand in London. So from 1916 to 1950, it remained as the Strand. So this is going to be the main concession area. It's going to also be like a little office area right here. We're going to have, there's handicap accessible bathrooms on this side, and there will also be on the other side as well. And I can bring you downstairs, down a little bit closer to the stage to show you some of the amazing detail. So in 1926, the theater actually changed owners once again to another businessman named Elias Lau. And he, in 1927, started changing the types of entertainment here from silent films to Hollywood films. So another transition, and he actually did some of the biggest changes to the Strand. He, in 1950, changed the name to the Center. He rebranded it again and started showing from Hollywood films to more pornographic movies and live striptease shows. And he also did a huge renovation to the exterior. So he took off the historic facade or historic exterior, and he made it into a more modern lobby and entrance. And he also, right here, so this is where people would sit. He shrunk the size of the audience capacity to be smaller, which is kind of interesting to learn about. So From 1950 to 1982, it was called the Center. So lots of changes, lots of transitions. And we're excited to be able to work with the Cape Verdean Association. And they actually bought the building in 1992, just a year after the fire happened. And then in 2017, partnered with Whale, and now we're working with them to restore it back to what it once was, this beautiful, beautiful historic theater. So we're really excited to be working in the North End for this project, and to be working with the city, to be working with the Cape Verdean Association, the New Bedford Economic Development Council, the Love the Ave Coalition. Lots of different people are supporting this project and working with us to make sure it gets finished. And we have gotten support from the Community Preservation Act. We have gotten quite a bit of money to fix the exterior. We've gotten funding from the Bar Foundation for Island Park, and we're hoping to keep that capital campaign happening and be able to keep working on this project. I hope you enjoyed seeing the interior of it, you understand this project a little bit more, and thank you so much for joining. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the tour, and now we're going to hear from Gail about some of the goals and objectives of the Cape Verdean Cultural Community Center.
Thank you, Teresa. I hope you all enjoyed that. I know I enjoyed seeing that again. It's always exciting to see all of the possibilities that can happen, you know, with the theater. Of course, as we all know, you know, with COVID-19, we're always looking at the plans that we have, how we can tailor them to social distancing and anything else that we have to do. But of course, you know, as a theater, we want to have performances, concerts from artists, not only from New Bedford, but from all over the globe, can be here, as well as rental space as a way to provide some income for the center, and plays and dancers, any type of performances. What Teresa didn't show in the backstage area, there's classroom space there that can be utilized for many different offerings that we can have for cultural education, for adult and youth programming, such as ESOL classes, Creole classes, music, computer literacy. There's just so many different offerings, you know, that we can have. Translation services, we know that it's really, really important to be able to communicate with Cape Verde Islands and other places, and there's not a consult here in New Bedford. People have to travel to Boston for those services, and they usually only come down, you know, once in a while to New Bedford. So to have a site right here at the center in New Bedford would be fabulous and be such a great help to our community, and help with referrals and passports and other communications. And economic development, you know, as we said, we know that, you know, Economic Development Council is close by. This Corinne Williams office at CDC is close by. The Love the Ave Coalition is close by. So there are many, many opportunities to have programs for youth. We know that there is not a youth center in the North End. We know that there's Boys and Girls Club for the West End, that there's Denison for the South End. So we're in conversations with several groups, including the Youth Alliance, about how we can partake in that and have this also be part of a center that would be for that. So that would be great. So we're really excited about that. You see the outside, we've been working on the outside, you know, as well to be open, you know. So as soon as you come off Route 18, it's right there, and it's going to be really fabulous to see.
Great, thanks so much, Gail. And now we're going to hear from Jan about our other partnership project, Island Park.
Well, now you can see the lot a little bit, and I think we had seen that lot year after year, and we kind of wished and prayed that we could have it, because we were thinking of parking and access. And when we recognized that the lot was within our buying power, and we started to talk to Whale about a vision that we may have, we recognized that there was a perfect blend of what we needed. We wanted parking and access. We wanted to extend our presence in the North End area. And so we started to envision a gathering space, a welcome to the international markets place. And so, you know, culturally rich and an open space where the community could gather around all of the things that happen in the North End, the Portuguese feast, the parade, the Day of Portugal. Those things I'm hoping will come back, and we'll be ready for them through our collaborations with our neighbors in that neighborhood. So that was the name Island Park grew out of that, the concept of how culturally rich and diverse the North End is, and the Acushnet Avenue business all the way along that expanse. So we called it Island Park. We put together a group. We started looking for partners, and we did come up with a working group called the Island Park Working Group, which consists of the people from the city of New Bedford, people from Wales, the CEDC, and I think we haven't named Studio to Sustain, Catherine Duff's work. She's been very central to the feasibility study for the Strand and the feasibility study for Island Park. Those are her renderings there on the right-hand side. Oh, that's the left-hand side of what you're seeing on the slideshow. So we bought the lot and we started conceptualizing what Island Park could look like. And you can see we have parking, we have bus loading and unloading so that we can have after-school programming for children who come after school on buses. It's part of our view and vision. Another partner is the Community Foundation, and they are a big part of why we were able to, what you see on the bottom there is a mural that will be appended on the wall there, that south-facing wall that you can see, which is being repointed right now. So I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So there's the design, the Island Park open space with some serpentine seating that we think will be tiled, and maybe our school children will be doing some of that work. We want it to be multicultural. There'll be play area. We're writing grants to see if we can put together a small little playground in that area. So it'll be a meeting place for the community. So what we commissioned, and you'll be there'll be a press release very soon, and the mural that you see was commissioned by the Cape Verdean Association through the money from the Community Foundation, and that is going to be put up within the next couple of weeks on that wall. That depicts island life, which I think is generalized to all of the communities and cultures and ethnicities that live in that area. So that is Island Park. We will have an event October 8th in conjunction with AHA Night. Even though the mural will already have been appended, we will be interviewing people involved and interviewing the artist, and through a videotape, which will probably be shown via Zoom and another event similar to this. So the last thing I just want to talk about is financing. Again, Community Foundation has been a big support, but the CPA grants and the city and money from the Island Foundation and the Bar Foundation, those are all funders, and we're very grateful and appreciative of that support. All of this is about making that a very rich and inviting and gathering place, a safe gathering place for celebration of all of the people that inhabit New Bedford. So it's very exciting. I can't wait. Keep that date open, October 8th, and maybe you can come and watch the event. Social distancing safely.
Yes, social distancing very safely. Thanks, Jan. Okay, and now we're going to hear from Terry, Executive Director of WHALE.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. And thank you to Teresa for putting this all together. You do such a great job. So as you've heard, WHALE has been working with the Cape Verdean Association for the past 3 years. It's gone by quickly. And I have to say, I am so awed by the persistence of the Cape Verdean Association and their continued drive to get this done, because we've only been working on it 3 years and they've been working on it for 15 years, I think. So this is, you hear about all their wonderful programming. And so 3 years ago, we received a grant from the Mass Cultural Council to do a feasibility study. That included not only architectural planning, but also financial and business planning of how all the wonderful programming that the Cape Verdean Association had in place and envisioned, and how it was going to fit into this building. So it was a really collaborative process, a lot easier before COVID, but a lot of sit-down meetings with Catherine Duff, the architect, and the board of the Cape Verdean Association and WHALE, and talking about programming, design, and also the historic integrity of the theater, which, as Teresa said, is really outstanding. And you can see on the right here, that is the original facade of the Strand Theater. And we will be putting that back in place. Unfortunately, a lot of the fabric had been removed, so it's we will be recreating a lot of it, but the actual blueprints and plans and some of the infrastructure for the historic facade is in place, and we feel confident that we could put this together. And we will be using state historic tax credits, and it will be done according to the Secretary of Interior standards. We've applied for historic tax credits, and we should be receiving those in the next 6 to 9 months. Also, as you heard, the city has invested CPA funds, and then there's been private foundation support. Thank you to the Island Foundation and to the Cape Verdean Association's great fundraising capabilities. Island Park, I would like to say that Eden Swords is a Cape Verdean artist that did the mural, and he worked tirelessly on it in the basement of the Co-Creative Center, and it is a huge and massive endeavor and is going to look beautiful. So we're looking forward to that hanging in October after the facade is, that side elevation is repointed, which is 95% complete. You could go to the next slide. So this is the result of the feasibility study. We've gotten more detailed drawings since then for submittal for historic tax credits, but you can see all the ideas and programming of the Cape Verdean Association laid out in this building, really using every available inch of space. Jan had mentioned those music studios and learning center in the back behind the stage. It's really important and a big part of what CVA does, and now they'll have spaces to do that. And then the importance of having the ability to bring in other entertainers and programming into the space. And we're finishing the business plan aspect of the whole project, and finalizing, wrapping it up. And we are about halfway to raising the funds for the complete restoration of the Strand Theater. And we're on our way with Island Park as well. And thank you to the Community Foundation and Bar Foundation for spearheading that, that initiative with the Cape Verdean Association. One last thing on Island Park, as Jan said, we will be putting serpentine benches in, and Tracy Barboza will be the artist that will be coordinating that, that design and execution. So in line with the mission and goals of the center and the Cape Verdean Association, they are working with and collaborating with artists to make sure the design of Island Park and Strand Theater has that cultural richness to it. So there's a lot of thought and planning behind the project. I think that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Terry. So we wanted to thank the Cape Verdean Association. They've been working to get this project finished for a really long time, and I'm in awe of them as well. And we want to thank the whole board, and they're all volunteers working super hard. So thank you so much, and also for joining us for this awesome series where we've been holding for the last few months. And also I wanted to welcome Abigail, who is the new grant specialist and coordinator. I'm excited to be working with her as well. So here's some contact information, websites, and I will also be emailing all of this to all of the guests this evening. If you have any follow-up questions, we have a Q&A section coming up to answer anything right now, but if anything comes in later on, you'll get this information as well. So there's two ways, as we switch into the Q&A section, there's two ways to ask a question. You can do the chat box, or you can raise your hand. You click on the participants, and then underneath you should see a little hand. You click on that, and that lets me know that you have a question. And we welcome all of you to turn on your videos now. This is being recorded, so when we share it, we'd love to be able to share how many people are with us this evening. No pressure, don't have to, but now we'll switch to Q&A, so bring your questions, comments, concerns. We welcome everything. And thanks so much for sticking with us through all the technical difficulties. Yeah, just a few, and Zoom with everything, so thanks for sticking through everything.
I would like to just make a point that I forgot, it was in my notes and I forgot to mention it, and Helena Hartnett brought it up in the chat line, but the two projects together, Island Park and Strand Theater, this will be the entrance to the North End and to the Acushnet Avenue International Marketplace. So when you enter the North End via Acushnet Avenue now, you see a compromised historic building and a vacant lot. And the two projects together will be a huge revitalization and transformative project for the entire North End and the city as well. So just thank you, Helena, for pointing that out.
Great. So we have a question from Denise Porche. Will you think about design and restoration moving forward? Will you think about pandemic mitigation? So not sure who would like to take that one on. Either maybe Jan, do you want to talk a little bit about when things switch to, if things continue with Zoom a little bit?
Well, we are really not going to open our doors until 2021 late. And certainly, though, we expect that Island Park will be open sooner than that. And again, being outside is helpful, and certainly will everything that we design within the era that we're in now will be about safety and distance. And when we think about programming, of course, that's overarching in everything we do. Gail has been talking about this. Gail's very conscious about this because of her work with the YWCA, and we've talked about it as a board. And I think it's an unknown in 2021, late 2021, when the Cultural Center opens, what the world will be like. But up until then, we'll be informed, and our practice will be reflective of safety and respect for COVID and precautions.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback on that, Jan. I think everyone, no matter what you're designing going forward, is going to be thinking about these parameters. I know when we were doing our building, we always thought that way, and this is, pre-pandemic, that no matter what the programming is, that we could always change the space. And that's what I always bring up in board meetings, even before COVID-19, about if we decide, or if someone else decides, it's not just about what we want to do right now, it's what happens in the future when we're not sitting around this table. If somebody wants to change the space or change the design, or programming needs or community needs change, how is the space able to pivot? How is the space adaptable to the growing and changing needs of our community? So I always, and because I have experience in a project now, I have that mindset, which probably 10 years ago I didn't. But I think learning through that process has really been helpful. And I think going through the pandemic, and being mindful of everything we do, not just space-wise, but programmatically, we have to keep that in mind. I think everybody's going to have to, going forward, because health and safety is first and foremost, very, very important, especially because we're doing a lot of performances. So thinking about singing and dancing and, how close you are in proximity to watch an event. So we absolutely, have that in mind. And I know I voice it all the time.
Yes, you do. You're the voice.
I'm the voice. I'm the voice. I'm the voice. So, but thank you for that. That was a great question.
Yeah, hopefully once the Strand is ready to go, the COVID will at least
be gone,
slow down, or just be gone.
You got to think about others, because there could be another pandemic coming. So
definitely.
we always got to be, like I said, I think this is just to change the way everyone has done business, going forward. And I want to say hi to Al on there, and thank you and Rep. Cabral and Dina for all your support.
Right.
We really, really appreciate that. Senator Montigny, the mayor's office, Pat Sullivan's office have all been, Denise Porcher, Island Foundation, have all been very, very supportive, and all the individuals, some of them I know that have supported us as well, and always believed in us and never gave up, because we are all volunteers. Abby's our first, paid person, very limited hours. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, it's really amazing to me how many people are involved in this project. I've been with WHALE for a little bit now, but when I first started learning about this project, it was really exciting to be able to collaborate with so many people. WHALE works with a lot of different people, but especially for this project, there's just so many great people involved with it. The collaborations are endless, so really exciting.
Yeah.
Rachel.
I have a question. So I know, first of all, I echo Terry and Teresa's sentiments. It's been wonderful working with you all. Just your enthusiasm and your energy and about the building, but also just creating the center and just your mission are just so inspiring, and it's been so wonderful to work with you. But I don't think I've ever heard, Raquel, you talk about how you first discovered the building, and how did you know that was the building that you wanted? You always talk about that building with such love, but I don't think I've ever heard, how did you come across it?
We had a small place on the north end, was rented, and we were paying every month a group of people was paying to have that space to use as a Cape Verdean Association. And when someone told us that building was for sale, and the president on that time said, why not go see the place? We need a place that we can call our home. We need a place. It wasn't an intention to be a North End, but when we went to see the building, I was a member of Cape Verdean Association that time. Just came to America. I'm here for 32 years. We saw that building and everybody said, this is our building. This is going to be a place that, because you know the stage, all the Cape Verdean love stage, they artists, they feel the music, you know, they see stage, they be happy. If you see, try to see when you put like a musician on top of a stage, how different they look. They are so inspired, they, you know. And when we went there, the place was ugly. Let me tell you, it was ugly. And I thought that, no, nobody was going to be interested in that building, but something inside your heart tell you when it's something that you belong to. That is what make this group decide that was going to be this place. But they never thought it was going to be a lot of money to fix. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. That was a great question, Rachel, because I don't think a lot of us knew exactly what brought you to the Strand, but it really is an incredible building. And I think once it's finished with the ceiling being recreated and the historic exterior being brought back to life, I think it's just going to be incredible.
I think I talk about musician, artists, but I was a performer dancer in Cape Verde. I work with artists. I was an artist. I used to do jewelry, dancing, singing. And when I went every time, since today, every time I go to that place, I feel like alive. I feel like that place is already in use. I feel that stage like when it's going to be open. We have a lot of things to do on that stage.
I have a question, not much of a question.
I thought that's, I'm sorry, Dina. I thought this is what brought Gail to attention, is this excitement, the excitement of it. Dina, go ahead.
Okay, so I guess I know everyone on the call. My name is Dina Abreu. I'm here with another hat, which is from Rep Cabral with L. Mine is not much of a question, but it's idea because like I hear a lot of people ask us, like even when they know I'm from Rep Cabral's office and I'm Cape Verdean Association member, proud one, they say, oh, you guys had idea of the vacant lot to make the island park, which is beautiful, which is a great idea. And some people ask, why you guys didn't make the apartment for rent for revenue for long term, thinking as a long term. So my question and a recommendation is like, well, stick with us. If we find any vacant lot out there, we'll make that as a prospect renting for, instead of making fundraisers or try to get money everywhere. So we'll have an income coming in. That's my comment.
Great, thanks, Dina. So we have a question about AHA night on October 8th from Al about what time the event is. It's usually at night.
I think we said 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
I think that's my best memory, and that's only from memory, Al's. But I think Stephen Froyas is working with AHA to make sure it's in the program. So it'll be in the AHA programming.
And it also will be shared on social media, on our newsletter. We'll keep everyone updated on anything to do with the Strand. So just stay tuned for those updates.
And there'll be a press release coming out maybe a week before that.
Any other questions or comments? No? Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Once we got it rolling, it was great. And thank you so much for joining us. This is being recorded, so stay tuned for emails with the link so you can share it with everyone and our contact information. So thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye, everyone.
Everybody. Thank
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.